Yeah. There we go. All right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm not a host with our Mac room. You gotta be a host to get
No,
that.
you're actually a poster child for what we're going to talk about later. Like, you don't need to know how to do that. You can ask
Correct.
somebody else how to do that, and then you
Correct.
can stay in your zone of genius, right, Trevor?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here. And, I'm a huge fan of the entire Summers agency, and it's really cool to see you guys number. I'm so stoked that you guys were like number one in the Purdy Master because I think there's nothing better in this business than like that healthy like level of competition to
Yep.
like get to the top, stay at the top. I'm always like by the numbers, like who are you? You got to know who you're chasing. You got to know who's chasing you, all that good stuff. So congrats to all of you, Team Tipton. I see you, Slingos. We got the Woods team with the Griffins, like all the leadership that's representative on this team. I'm stoked. I'm happy to be here. So thank you so much for having me, Trevor.
Love it. So glad you're here. So for those that don't know who you are, like I said, we have a lot of new agents on here. Give me a little introduction. Let's hear the Pappas agency elevator pitch hierarchy, a little bit
You
about
got
who
it.
you
You
are.
got it. We just call it your symmetry intro. It's like who you are, level of leadership, who you're direct to, how long you've been here. So, guys, my name is Sarah Pappas. I'm a senior vice president. I'm direct to symmetry by way of Marshall Wayland. And I have been at Symmetry since November of this. Actually, the 16th was my 12-year anniversary.
Oh, okay.
November of 2013. So yeah, that would be 12 years. And I'm calling at you from today from Brentwood, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. So good to be here with you guys.
I love it. Awesome. Well, for those that are here that are new, where I think something you do really, really well is you're able to coach new agents on how to get off the ground, how to get unstuck, how to get going, get them out of that corner, change their mindset. We know how important mindset is here. And we heard it. Everybody has different time frames, right? Shelby said, "Hey, I've been here 5 months, but she got it going now." But I want to start with for the brand new agents that are here today, right? That have that the phone weighs 5,000 pounds. They don't have the belief yet. What's some of the belief they could borrow from you to help get them going down that road?
Well, first of all, okay, so thank you. Great question. And number one, I love to coach new agents. I also love to coach agents who've been here for 2 or 3 years. I love to coach the key leaders. I love to coach agency owners. So I've been on every step of the path. So I can coach all of it. However, I do feel like the best mentors you'll find in life in general are the people that are just 1 to 2 steps ahead of you, right? And so, with that said, find somebody, if you're brand new, find somebody who's 1 to 2 steps ahead of you and latch onto them. Like, what are they doing? How did they get through where you're at? You talked about like, how do you build the belief? Well, here's the thing, Trevor. There's a reason why belief is the number one cornerstone of success here. Okay. That's exactly where it starts because this business, like any business, is like 99% mindset, right? Am I wrong?
Oh, a thousand
Like,
percent right.
I,
It's
I
the
mean,
most important.
it is. I'm going to in January. I'm attending for the third year in the row the Tony Robbins Business Mastery Conference. It's 5 days of business mastery, and he says the same thing. Business is like 90% mindset and like only 10% action. Like, because like we can figure out how to do the pick up the phone. Yeah, it might feel like 500 pounds, but we can figure out how to pick it up, right? But guys, here's the thing. I can't like build belief in you. Like that's something that you get to build for yourself. Like I came here with belief. Okay, here's what I believed in when I first came to Symmetry, when I first found this opportunity. Number one, I believed in the opportunity. Why? Because I owned my own life insurance policy already. I was like, oh, life insurance? I could definitely get behind life insurance. You see, I wanted to sell something before I got my license. I got my license in August of 2012. I'll give you a little story. I'll give you a little rundown. I got my insurance license in August of 2012. My kids were age 6 and 8 at the time. And I had been up until that point a stay-at-home mom. I call myself like an entrepreneur business hustler because My background is actually in social work and in nonprofits. And when I gave birth to my daughter 21 and a half years ago, at that time, it was going to cost my entire paycheck to pay for her daycare. And that didn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay. So I said, well, I might as well stay at home with her and then figure out how to like make any income at that point would have been amazing. Right. And so I started selling vitamins. I started doing photo booths at weddings on the weekends. I started, and then after that, for a couple of years, then I started doing some consulting for some nonprofits. I did some fundraising, which never ever want to do that again. I'd rather write the check than plan the event. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Same boat.
So, so I was doing all this and I was like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. I'm working so much and I was barely making $2,000 a month, all these jobs that I was doing. And so when my son was about to head into kindergarten, my husband at the time looks at me, he says, well, what are you going to do? You're going to get a job, like a real job? And I was like, I wanted to punch him in between the eyes because I was like, you know, well, first of all, what do you think I've been doing over here? I've been working my ass off. But number two, I'm now at this point, I'm psychologically unemployable. I've been self-employed for 8 years. Do I want to go back and have a boss? No. Right?
Right.
Have somebody tell me where to go, what to do. Nor did I want to go back to school and get a higher degree, like spend the money and the time to go back and get a degree and start a career from scratch. So I decided I wanted to sell something. Okay. Why? Because again, one of my mentors, I went to my first Unleash the Power Within back in June of like 2012. And Tony Robbins said from the stage, he said, if you're good at sales, you can make $250,000 or more a year. And I was like, what? I want to do that. I got to get good at sales. I can get good at sales. I love working with people. Remember, my background is in the helping profession. So I was like, but what to sell? I didn't want to sell houses. I didn't want to sell timeshare. I didn't want to sell pharmaceuticals, like some of these like big ticket items. I didn't want to have a boss. I didn't want to have to go find my own clients. I didn't want to do network marketing and hustle down my friends and family and their friends and family and their friends and family on down to eternity for the rest of my life. I wanted to find something that I could believe, right? And help people with. And honestly, guys, if I didn't have to cold call or door knock or find my own clients, even better. So when this opportunity came my way, I think it came my way because I got really clear. And so I always talk about like, get clear on what you want, because when you're clear with what you want, the universe will conspire to make it happen for you. And so I got really clear. And so when this opportunity came my way through a single mom who I knew at the time, I recognized it. She told me that she was making her own hours. She told me that she had made $4,000 in like the first half of her third month in the business. She told me she was selling life insurance. She told me she was calling on people who already requested a phone call. Okay. All of that was like, check, check, check. I was like, I think I found my opportunity. So I had that kind of a belief. I believed in what we were selling. The second thing is I believe in our carriers. She told me we get to sell with people like Mutual of Omaha, American Amicable, all of these A-rated life insurance companies. And I happen to know that life insurance companies are far superior to a bank, because you give a bank $1, they loan out 9. You give $1 to a life insurance agent, they'll invest it and give it back to you when you need it. Okay. And so life insurance companies, like by law, they have to have enough accessible cash to pay out all the death claims if they all happen on the same day. Yep. Like there's a reason why every city that you go into, the tallest building is a life insurance company, is an insurance company. So I was like, wow, okay, so you mean those people are going to be cutting my paychecks? Yes. I want to work with a company that's not going out of business and that's cash rich, right? And then I find out I get to make my own hours and all that stuff. So the third thing, number one, believed in the opportunity. I believe in life insurance. Number two, I believed in the carriers. Number three, and this is probably the most important, and you said it at the very beginning, Trevor, I believed in myself. Okay. And I hope that every single person on this call also believes you believe in yourself. Okay. Because I feel like that is the most important belief that we have here. Belief that you can do it. Belief that when you come on these calls, you say, oh man, if that person can do it, I can do it too. Like I can learn something. I can get through the suck, right? As we say, the beginning, I can get through the learning curve. I'm like, man, I've done hard things in life. Haven't you? Haven't we all done already hard things in life? This is no different. And so I really latched on to this whole notion of this being a personal development company. We just happen to sell life insurance because my first 3 months in this business were rough. I was literally handed like I got some leads. I invested. I wasn't handed leads. I invested. I had $150 for my first lead order. I bought the bottom of the barrel bonus leads. And I was lucky enough to get a script. So I got a leads and a script and I was like, go and do it. Make it happen. That was all the training that we had. Nowadays, you got HQ, you got Summit, you got freaking mortgageprotectionuniversity.com, you've got SFG quotes, you've got the cheat code, right? You've got SoundCloud, you got all this stuff. It's crazy. Back then when I got started, we didn't have any of that. And so I found myself crying on my kitchen floor several times like I don't know if I can do this. Like my belief was wavering. Does anybody ever have that doubt in themselves and their business?
Yep.
Gone through a quitting phase, right? Man. So the struggle is real, right? But every time you don't quit, you turn a corner. That's one of my mantras. Like every time you don't quit, you turn a corner, because every time you feel that frustration, that level of frustration, that means you're about to have a breakthrough. So, man, I have to just say I'm here by the grace of God because I didn't quit. I didn't quit in my first 90 days and I didn't quit in my first year. Because even though I turned a corner after my first 90 days, I still had to figure out all the things that everybody has to figure out. I had to figure out how to set appointments. I had to figure out how to get people to show up for the appointments. Then I had to figure out how to overcome the think about it. And I had to figure out how to take an app that day. And I had to figure out the underwriting, and I had to figure out how to get that app approved, right? So these are all skills that we can develop. And I would say that you should be able to develop all the skills necessary to make the kind of income you want to make and live the life of your dreams. I think you should be able to learn that within 12 months, within your first year here. Why? Because by the end of my first year, I was in the top 20 agents in the entire company. And that wasn't because I'm awesome. It's because I figured out that I sucked so bad, I needed to work extra hard to make my numbers. And then after getting in the habit of working or doing that level of consistent work, I realized that I was running in circles around the top talented people in the company. And when I came to Symmetry, I was the number 3 writer in the entire year. And I wasn't even trying, guys. I just was doing what I figured out how I needed to do because I sucked. And then all of a sudden I got better. And so I talk about this, like when you start off, your skills are low, but you got to keep your activity really high. And then your skills develop. And if you can keep your activity high, guys, that's the sweetest spot. We call that momentum. But the unfortunate thing is what happens when people's skills develop, guess what happens? All of a sudden their activity they start to take their foot off the gas. They're like, oh, I'm good. And all of a sudden their activity goes down. Then they become an agency owner and then they stop producing altogether. What? Yep. So I always say this business is too good to not get suck the full life out of it. It's too good. This opportunity is too good. And we had our hot seat coaching this past Tuesday. I do it once a month. I open it up to everybody at all of Symmetry. I've got 2 hours. I coach the grade 8. I coach the 4 cornerstones and the 4 keys to a successful week. That's it. There's always a theme. And this week's theme was like, stick it out till you figure it out. Like, just stick it out till you figure it out. Okay. I can't wave the magic wand. It's all the things. It's the 4 keys: managing your schedule, getting fresh resources each week, putting in the activity that you need to put in, plugging into the system, right? And then you got the 4 cornerstones: belief, massive action with constant correction, personal development, and associating with the right people. That's it, guys. That's the magic right there. But really, you're the magic. You're the magic. If you're on this call, you are the magic. You're a superhero to your clients and you're a savior to your agents. And that you're not the messiah, you're not going to fix everybody, but you get to offer this amazing opportunity to your agents and you get to be a superhero to your clients. So you figuring this out are going to bring something totally authentic and totally unique to the table, which is why it's important that you stick around till you figure it out.
All right. So something I've watched you be super passionate about is developing leadership and lifting women up in this business and in this industry. I think you're a champion of it. You're a pioneer of it. I am like women crush this business, in my opinion. Frankly, I've learned more from this business from women than I have from men. Nothing against the dudes, but I've just had some incredible women here help mentor me and coach me as well. And it's there. So, like, what unique strengths do you think women bring to this business? And how can us guys and females like lean into those strengths?
Oh, that's you know what? It's so cool that you're asking me this question, Trevor, because I'm about like 6 months into my symmetry journey, and I was sitting at the big table. I had Kevin Purdy on one side, I had like Ashley Tarr on the other
Ooh,
side, and I'm like,
all
oh
right.
my gosh, I've like arrived, right? And Kevin Purdy turns to me and he's looking at me and Ashley, he's like, this business is so much easier for women. And again, I wanted to do that punch in between the eyes because I don't think he realized like how freaking difficult it was for me. Like I was like, you got to be kidding me. There's nothing easy about what I do. Nothing at all. And to say that my journey was easier than yours, I don't think so, Mr. Kevin Purdy, $100,000 a month, big time over here. You know what I mean? Like, no. The Pappas punch. I love it.
I feel
I love
those might need to be conference t-shirts this year. Just saying.
Maybe it's a hot seat. If you watch the replay of my hot seat, I'm about to punch some people on that hot seat. It was tough, man. I had to like calm myself down after that call. Um,
It was really heated.
who said that? Who is there?
Katie
Oh
said
my
it.
God. Yes, Katie, you were there. Girl, everybody could feel, everybody was like, oh my God, what's she gonna do? And I think I just had to go chill after that for a minute. 'Cause I get fired up. Why? Because I care, right? But so you're like, oh, it's easier for a guy that I don't think so, Trevor. I really don't think so. Why am I a champion for women? Well, because I am one.
Yep.
Okay.
Love it.
Do I think women do have an advantage? I came to the aha moment probably about a year ago where I said, you know what? Maybe this information is a little bit more easier digested by clients from a woman than from a man, but that's only because of this, like, I don't know, patriarchal hierarchy we've been living in the last several thousand years. I don't know, but yes, I think, if you're a man, you know, and if you're, I don't know, I don't know, as women, what do? We learn how to listen. We learn how, you know what I mean? We have to bring some of these like yin qualities to the table, not be so yang. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying?
I do.
So maybe that's it. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I think, um, frankly, I think women are tougher than men at the end of the day.
Hmm.
I think they got a little more grit in them. I think their pain tolerance is higher because of what you get to experience. And I think you got to have pain tolerance when you work for yourself. I think pain tolerance, you're going to have pain wherever you go, right? Do you want the pain of asking another adult human being for time off and getting declined? Or do you want the pain of having to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I'm going to go figure this out and do what I need to do to get there? So I think that's part of it. I think there's just different points of view. And that's why I say I think we each bring our own unique strengths and weaknesses to the table. And I like hearing different perspectives there. So let's pivot back to the newer agents. Okay. And we talk about it,
Yeah.
right? I'm saying, right. If you talk to me, I'm going to ask you, what book are you reading? tell me the four cornerstones, right? Like four keys, six. It works so well, it almost offends me. Like I actually told Casey this recently. I was having a conversation with Casey, and I'm like, you just like annoy me because it's just true, right? Go write 5K a week. Go do the Marshall Plan, interview 20 people, and guess what? Your life's gonna be really, really good. Like
Yeah.
it's so simple, it's almost offensive. But again, for the new agent that's here, right? You talked about it. Hey, I really struggled. I had to get through the curve. I'm going to make you pick one. You can only pick one. What's the one metric in their first 90 days that an agent should watch? If they can only have one to focus on, what should it be and how should they track it their first 90 days?
The first 90 days, I would say, I mean, the dials, contact, appointments,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like you got to put it, and two, dialing on leads. Okay. I love that this company is really like giving a really strong, solid message on how to leverage your warm market. I mean, this Wednesday's call was like fire. If y'all missed it, you got to go get the replay.
Yep.
Okay. Especially coming into the holiday season. But the beauty of this business is our leads, is the fact that we can work leads. And that's such a skill. Learning how to dial on leads and convert a lead into a client is a skill that is very highly paid. Like if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? But if you can take the time and consistency to learn those skills, man, I mean, you're going to be in the 8%, that does really well here. So dials, contacts, appointments for sure, Trevor.
I could not agree more, right? If you're not tracking this and treating it like a business, you're not going to be there. So as you start growing, one of the things I did a lot sooner than later, I wasn't even a team leader yet, is I brought an admin in. And one of these things this business has allowed you to do is to say, hey, where are some pain points I think I can help with? What are some of the strengths I think I can do? And you've done that now. So I think having that help to leverage how many more hours a week you can add to your week, right? Even if you add somebody to 10 hours a week, it's there. Because the craziest thing, like I think this business can develop is a skill set in you that says, hey, I got a problem I need to go fix. Okay, I'll go write another policy. I'll go write two more policies and I can fix that problem in days, not weeks, not months, not years. The working class of this country does not have that ability. But we're also all here to get our time back. Okay. So I want to hear what led you down the road to say, hey, I want to build a system to help Symmetry scale, to help agents scale, and have virtual assistants that they don't have to have 40 hours a week and a $10,000 a month overhead budget. Kind of talk to them what you've built and developed and how they can access it. Because I think this is something that's super important and people should do. They should do it way before they're comfortable doing it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Preach. All right. So let me just back up. Thank you for this question. And let me just give you some context of why I'm such a fan of hiring virtual assistants and to the point where I even created an opportunity for anybody to hire a virtual assistant. When I turned in my contracting paperwork on November 16th, 2023, I made a phone call that same day. And it was to a friend of a friend who was an admin assistant. And she was looking for work. She actually happened to live in my neighborhood. And I called her that same day I turned in my Symmetry contract. And I said, I'm going to need you. I'm going to need to hire you part-time, but I'm going to need you to help me get to agency owner. Guys, I didn't have anybody at the time. You know what I mean? But I just knew that in order to get to agency owner, I was going to need some help. I was going to need somebody else because if you don't have an admin, you are the admin. Okay.
Amen.
And there's too many things in this business to do. Like at the time we had to scan and fax in all of our apps. We had to, you still have to check your pending business, tracking your business, and then the whole recruiting side. At the time I was putting in some Craigslist ads, but I needed to hire that out as well. Why? Because I needed to spend 80 to 90% of my time and energy in production. And that's what each and every person on this call needs to do. I don't care if you're an agency owner or not. Like I tell all of my agency owners, you still need to put 80 to 90% of your time and energy into your personal production. Therefore, that other 10% that's going to be huge in creating your long-term income, your big income, that needs to get outsourced and automated.
Ooh, the
And
A&A, I
yeah,
love that. Yes.
yes. And so, anyways, I hired this woman to be my admin. She did all the things. She did the recruiting, the contracts, the pending business, all of that. And I got to agency owner within my first 8 months of being here at Symmetry. By August of 2014, I was an agency owner. And then I made a really big mistake. And I brought on my spouse. That wasn't the big mistake. So don't get me wrong. I'm like, how do I say this so it doesn't sound weird? Because we are no longer married. We're very amicable. And he really helped grow the agency. But at the time, he was earning about 6 figures at his job. And so here I am. I'm like a top producer. He leaves a 6-figure income. And we were really scared about that, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Like that was essentially us, my little agency, hiring on $100,000 employee, okay, before we were ever ready for that level of engagement. But I knew what he could bring to the table. I knew he could cold call resumes, and I knew he could help set up a recruiting platform, and I knew he could bring a lot to the table, and he did. But let me tell you, we made the biggest mistake because at the time we said, oh, we're bringing on this $100,000 employee. Sorry, $15 an hour assistant. We're going to have to let you go. Yeah, it was purely out of fear, you guys. It was, it was just a fear move. And so I just want to say, like, don't do what I did. Stop making decisions out of fear and do what you know is right for your business. But anyways, we did that. We made that mistake. And if I had kept her on, guys, we probably would be like 3 times the size that we are right now. Because then Mike could have done something different. I could have stayed in my zone of genius. You know what I mean? All the things. But we decided to become admins again. And until that didn't make any sense. And so 2015 was when I started my journey, which led me to where we are today. I started hiring admin assistant after admin assistant, and some local and some virtual. And I had a rough time, you guys. I probably worked with about 6 different companies that did virtual assistants, and I probably worked with about 8 people who cycled in and out that just didn't work out for whatever reason, or they got offered more money, or they graduated college, or whatever the deal was. I always seem to have the hardest time keeping an admin and then making it affordable, because a lot of people, really good admins, they want more than $20 an hour. You know, the really good ones. They want, and a really good one, a really, really good one's going to want $50 an hour. And so, man, I didn't have that kind of cash. I didn't have that kind of, you know what I mean? I was just like, man, that's going to really dip into my profitability. And I don't know if this person is going to love my business the way that I need them to love my business. You know what I mean? And all the things. And so in a moment of desperation, I tried one more virtual assistant opportunity. And that's where I eventually met my executive assistant. She's been with me now for 4.5 years. And we have eight people on our team. And it's been so great because now and hiring staff has been so affordable. And we're talking like $10 an hour has been so wonderful that I delegate everything to my staff. And if I have a new creative idea, I don't have any hesitation to hire somebody who can help me implement that, because I know it's not going to like break the bank, and I'll be able to get this idea implemented, and that idea is going to make me more money, right? So I'm a huge fan. So I've been preaching this for years. I've been preaching this to my team. Hire a VA, $10 an hour, get somebody to help you do the things that will keep you in the money-making moves. And so because I've been thinking about it and preaching about it for so long, I happened to mention it to my executive assistant. She said, "Oh my gosh, Sarah, I've been thinking the same thing. I have some friends who want to do what I do. I have some training that I've already put together around HQ, around Opt, And I said, let's do this. Let's offer this on a bigger scale. And so we started a company called Great VAs. Here, I'll share my background. I had this little background. I'm like, do I still have this background? We started a little company called Great VAs. Here it is. You can go to Great VAs, and it's a little play on words because y'all know how much I love the Great Eight. So we got Great Eight. So you got greatvas.com. And we launched it officially. I'm gonna say we, but it's my company. She actually she's a profit sharing part of that, but she provides a lot of the training and all of this. We hard launched it in August, and we had our first hiring fair in November. So and the whole idea, guys, it's really like we want you to be able to hire who you need. Hire an affordable staff person so that you can grow. You know, when I was at the Directs retreat back in April, Brandon and Casey posed this question to all the Directs. They said, hey, we want to be a $10 billion agency. What are you going to do to help us get there? And I started thinking, I'm like, great V8. I'm like, if every agency owner or every key leader had a virtual assistant, they would then be able to grow their businesses. And then we'd be able to get to the $10 billion valuation a lot quicker. So that's my contribution. That's my little piece because I'm passionate. I believe in it. That's my contribution to Symmetry and to your business if you choose to use our services. So thank you for letting me come on and talk about it, Trevor.
Yeah, I think for everybody here, understanding the advantage you have with Sarah's is one, right? 10 hours, right? Like get somebody, like have them follow up with the clients, right? They go into my CRM, they put their birth dates, all the information, they upload their applications into there, things I don't want them to do it, right? I want to be on the phone talking to people. I want to be running appointments. But they also, you got to teach them exactly how you want stuff done, but they're going to have HQ knowledge. They're going to have opt knowledge. They're going to have, the cool part is as they're coming in, they're not totally naive to the Symmetry language and what we're doing. So I think that's a massive value add because I've trained my assistant, right? I love Tess. She's the best, but she didn't know anything, right? And we, even if you're a new agent, you probably understand. So we have our own vernacular here. There's a whole glossary at HQ of just words that we use every single day.
Jargon.
That not everybody uses in normal conversations that they need to learn. So I think something you did that's really, really cool is give everybody that opportunity with that base knowledge, and then they can, custom tailor it to their style. So thank you for doing that. So this is a question you don't get off without answering this. You have to answer this. Okay. So this is my favorite question right now to ask leaders as we're heading into 2026. Okay. So you're writing a memo to leaders and up and coming leaders at Symmetry today with one key theme they must live by for 2026. What would it be? And what does that look like to live by it day to day?
That is crazy because I always do a word of the year. You know what I mean? And
me too.
The word of the year is like your guiding star for the year. I have one for business and one for personal. And this past year, my word of the year I'll start the personal. The personal one was ease. That was a beautiful word for me. And I have allowed this year to unfold with ease. And I love that. My business year has been promote. Because Casey Watkins says, and I love to quote Casey, he's got all the quotables. He says, the best promoter wins. And my mentor, Marshall Wayland, he says, if you ask him what's the key to the success of having the largest agency in all of Symmetry, he will say one thing and one thing only is butts and seats at conference. That's it. Butts and seats at conference. And so, yeah, I don't actually know what my word of the year yet is for 2026. Usually I have it figured out by now. Okay. It's weird. I know it's going to be good because it's like, it hasn't come to me yet. And I've been listening for it. But I'm going to say for everybody, to answer your question on this call, I'm going to say butts and seats at conference. I'm going to say the same thing that I've been preaching about every single week on my master agency calls: promote butts and seats at Ignite, butts and seats at the Purdy Master Agency Conference, butts and seats at the Cook Conference, butts and seats at the Denver Conference. That's what you got to do. Got to get 15 people there, right, to grow your agency. So that is what I will say to answer your question. A guiding star, get people to conference, butts and seats at conference.
I love it. I appreciate you. I value your friendship. Thank you for all that you do for everyone in this company and the energy you constantly bring to the table. I enjoy every time I get to talk to you or be around you. You are the best. Everybody show Sarah some love. Reminder that she is amazing. So, and I appreciate so much. And hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Trevor, Tipton, and Mel, and Scott and Kelly, and everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much. Thanks for
Yeah.
the love. Thanks for the love. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right. Talk to
Thanks,
y'all soon.
Sarah.
Okay,
See
bye
y'all in
bye.
the Mac room.
Have a good one.
Yep.
Did Debbie stop recording?